Well, hello there, it's B2, and welcome to another episode of Heroes and Generals. And today's topic is attack teams. When do I move them? Where do I move them to? What battles do I put them in? What battles don't I put them in? And how do I keep from overstacking? How do I XP my attack teams? B2, I have so many questions. Help me out. Alright, so here's the deal. In a nutshell, nice and sweet, nice and short, to the point. We'll look at the map first of all. All over the map, you have all these battles going. So if I switch the two colors, you can see easily where we are and where we aren't. Right? Soviet faction. I do it for Mother Russia. That was pretty good. Pretty good imitation of a Russian accent, if I do say so myself. And here's the deal. You got your Scandinavian Defense League led by Ginger and all those other guys, Gaius Bolter. And really, either way, you could take either side. Scandinavia should be U.S. No, Scandinavia should be Russian. Or you could say Scandinavia should be German. Not really. Just thought I'd throw it in there. They run from Berlin in the beginning of the map. They get Berlin and Rome, and you can see they turtle Rome. And I don't disagree with that. I don't agree with it. But it is what it is, right? They have a huge queue, and so their thing is let's pull back, let's gather our resources, then let's spread out. Kind of safe and kind of effective. Since I only think I've seen them wiped off the map once, maybe. And I'm not even sure about that, to be honest. So, back to attack teams. Right now, you have a huge push. We were backed into here, into Riga, and down the line in Leningrad. And I logged in this morning, and I saw this big push happening over there. So I moved some troops in and kind of checked it out. And I thought, man, this would be a great time to talk to my fellow comrades and players from the other factions about attack teams, and when to put them in battles and when not to. Right now you can see this is heavily contested. Lots of skirmishes, lots of battles, bullets flying, cars exploding, jeeps blowing stuff up. And so what do you do down here? Like, this is a mess. Like, one thing I wouldn't do is push this town, that's for sure. I would not take my troops all the way into Orensbro, because they have a chance of being cut off right here. So if you look at who's in this battle, look at you. I called it. Rorvik. You got Carcinogen, who plays Russian sometimes, buddy of mine, great player. You got Ginger, another good player. You got Idlecleese. You got a bunch of good guys in here. Conus, you got Nutella, JKP2. You got a bunch of vets in here. Chentuk, all trying to vie for that. And look, they're already on the church, and Rorvik going for the police station right now. So that town's going to get taken. We're going to get pushed back across the water, and then they're going to go into Halstavek. And the goal is to cut off all these players. Now, it says I have troops here, but I don't. I can't click on there. So it'll cut off the 1,300 troops there. It'll cut off the 1,400 troops there. It will cut off, what is this one? 400 troops there. It'll cut off paratroopers there. It'll cut off 200 troops there. It'll cut off the 1,800 that are in Nortalje. See, look, bam, that battle gets kicked back because they're vets, baby. Halstavik will pop open. So, if I was going to be trying to continue to push in this northeast area, why would I put my attack teams in these battles? How would I get XP from them, B2? Like, explain this to me. And so let's take this battle here, for instance. Right now, there is 0 troops in there because there's a skirmish on the line that you can't see. Right here. So here's an example. We've got infantry, they've got infantry. We've got motorbikes, they've got motorbikes. We've got jeeps, they have jeeps. Neither team has recon, and there's only medium tanks from our side in there. So if I was going to put something into this battle, the only thing that I would consider putting into this battle right now would be recon or jeeps, and I'll explain why. First of all, it's 351 troops. It's fun for both sides because they have 297. So the battle will get played, or it'll take 30 minutes to auto-resolve, at which point, at this case, it would auto-resolve into the Soviet faction, into our favor. Why is that? Because we have more infantry, we've got more vehicles, and we've got tanks, right? So you add all that together, and there's a number, and that number is bigger than the U.S. number. Now, inherently, you have a little bit of a defense advantage on the map. But in a skirmish, it's 50-50. It's anybody's guess. You got 2 starting points, you fight over 3 points, right? Or 2 spawning points, and everybody fights over 3 areas. So, like, if I was going to, if I wanted to add something to this battle right now, I could put into this battle recon. And it would be a safe bet that my recon would gain experience. Why? Because there's no attack teams in there, and you're going to have to pull from my squad. If you want to play a recon, you're playing my recon guy, right? So bam, I throw recons in there. What I wouldn't throw in is more motorcycles, and I'll tell you why. At 18 per group, that means there's 4 attack teams of motorcycles in right now. So you have 4 attack teams of motorcycles, and what's that, 216 troops that are playing? So if my motor guard was going to try to get XP, it has to use units from that motor guard, and it has to hit a certain threshold. Now, I'm not sure the exact number. Maybe one of the bug hunters or maybe one of the devs can jump in and tell you the exact number. But until you hit that number of usage in your attack team, you will not gain XP regardless of the outcome of battle, if you lose or win, because you haven't met the threshold of usage. Once the threshold is okay, bang, you've used enough troops, then okay, let's go ahead and say, did you win or did you lose? And we'll assign that XP to that AT. So if you've got 10 ATs of motorbikes in there, and you'd get to use 1 unit every 10 spawns in there. So that's not nearly going to be enough to hit the threshold to get XP. So hopefully that makes sense to you. But if I was to send in motorized recon at this point, or whatever, mechanized recon, or whatever you want to call them, then every recon that spawned would be my recon. And I would hit the threshold very quickly and possibly get either winner or loser XP. Then that attack team would level, and eventually you can upgrade it. So that's kind of the way the battle goes. Look at these guys again. Ginger, Carcinogen, Conus. They're all following each other. And you know, that makes sense. Put your vets in the same battle. Push people back. The good thing today for us is that there's troops in all these towns that are pushing through. 900, 5,000. Wow, that's a lot in there. That's an example of overstacking. If I had troops in here, Nibor, who's actually a clan guy, I would be moving those troops way back right there. M1 Noob, Severity, Noob, Duncan, Cougs. Like, all of these guys need to be thinking about getting their troops out. I personally went all the way back to Inko and threw all my attack teams way back there at the back of the line, probably mostly mine. And I checked, all these towns have troops in them all the way across. So if these guys want to continue to push out, they're going to have to play every battle on the way to push us back out. And that's the way you want it to be. You don't want to have 5,000 troops stuck there. It would only take 5 battles, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, and all of these troops would be killed on morale. Assuming they had full morale to begin with. If they had 100% morale, it would only take 5 battles to wipe all of them off the map. Worse yet is they split them between here, and 2,500 go there and 2,500 go here. Or they split 3 ways, and 1,500 go to each of these 3 towns, and they encircle them here and then wipe them off the map. Do you see how easy that would be? Take that town, and then half those troops, or a third would go there, and then a third would go up here, you know, because one of these lines will close by then. And then you trap all these troops in here and you wipe them off the board. If you have no lines to retreat from and you lose the battle, you lose the ATs. Now today on the map, we've been able to do that multiple times down here. So let's take a look at one more battle, B2. What would this battle be like if this played? And it is playing. Now we have the D and the A line on, let's take a look. What battle is this? In Nortalje, which means we sent troops from the airfield, Rimbo, over to Nortalje, and we sent troops from Rorvik to Nortalje, and they came in on the A line and the D line. Now we've lost Rorvik subsequently, so this A line, when it loses big time. These troops will be screwed basically because they're not going to be able to retreat down the A line. That city was taken behind, and you would lose all these ATs that came in on that A line. Now this is a classic example of an overstack, meaning I don't care how many ATs of Jeeps and motorcycles you want to put in here now, none of them will gain XP. There's way too many troops to gain any XP on motorcycles or Jeeps here. So shame on everybody for having 2,500 troops here. Same thing, I can't even put a recon in right now. There's 193 recon in that battle. The only thing that I could possibly put in would be tanks, and I wouldn't want to do that because the U.S. Army has heavies and tank destroyers. So why would I throw light tanks against mediums, heavies, and tank destroyers? Now, we do have paratroopers, and if those are used, they will gain XP because that's only one unit of paratroopers, and maybe 2 units of planes or 1 big squadron. I don't know. It's hard to tell without popping open everything and seeing inside the game. And I don't have anything close there to view the stack. So, but those planes would probably gain XP for everything they did too. So that's kind of how you would take a look at the map. Now, if we take a look at the Warsaw area, and again, this is map 395 on March 24th of 2016, just for a reference. If you can see down here, we have taken Warsaw back, which we actually got pushed out. And so we've gone around and we've kind of encircled a few troops here, or almost encircled. But let's take a look at a few of these battles. See, this one's not too badly overstacked, 900 units. A few tanks, a few paratroopers and stuff. That's not a bad battle, about 1,000 with some mixed in other troops. Now, if I was going to add anything to this battle, what would I add? Probably a unit of Jeeps. You would possibly use enough Jeeps to hit that XP queue, whether it's a loser or a winner. What you don't want to do is put it into an overstack battle and win, and you just get nothing for it. You get to use war funds to replace, you know, troops that got used, basically. Let's take a look at this battle. This is a great battle here. It's got 297 units in it, which makes it fun. It's going to have to play. Now, if it goes to the timer, which you have a 5-minute setup, and then it goes to this screen, and then it has 30 minutes from this screen if it's fun to auto-resolve. So if I was going to put units in here, I'd probably put in like 1 bikes, 1 Jeep, and maybe tank destroyers to combat their tank destroyers. Put in some recons, maybe. You could put that in. All those with XP. Now, why is that important, B2? And I'll tell you why. The Soviet faction overall has low-ranked ATs, meaning we have a ton of, if I look at assault teams, let me actually pull one of my generals, not that noob cake Akir officer right here with 3 command points. If I pulled my general here, Death Machine, and I looked at buying an assault team, you would see the progression here, right? So you have your guard, you have your motorized guard, you have your infantry, you have your motorized infantry, and you have an APC unit here, which is mechanized infantry. And each one has different things in the levels, and it corresponds with different command points. So as a walking infantry, it's kind of easy to XP these guys up because there's so many noobs that play the game that don't have Jeeps, don't have motorcycles yet, and so this unit will get played pretty good. You still want to stick it into battles that aren't overstacked, though. Now, you can have a choice here from going to guard, and you can go to motorized guard, which is 18 bikes, 54 infantry, what I was saying before. 1 command point. Or you can buy walking infantry for 2 command points. And I don't recommend you get a whole lot of these guys. They're not the easiest to XP up, but they do put massive amounts of troops in the battles. I'd rather see 36 motorcycles and 108 infantry than 135 infantry. And I'll explain why. Jeeps are level 3 for your driver badge, and more noobs will have Jeeps, which makes it, they spawn them a lot, and they drive them 50 meters, and they get out and they fight somebody, and the Jeep is left there. Very inefficient. But motorcycles are driver 9, I believe, so you're going to have more veteran players playing on your motorbikes than you will be noobs playing on your Jeeps. But you're going to have to get Jeeps eventually, right? So anyway, what you're going for is right here. And that's mechanized infantry. This takes a long time to get to. So you want to put your Jeeps into the most efficient battles you can. And you don't want to put them into overstack stuff. So let's take a look at the map again. Would I want to put Jeeps into this one? Absolutely. Probably two units of Jeeps here. Get 90 Jeeps in and a bunch of units because you know that's going to pull. You're the only one that has Jeeps in this battle, Chief. Probably put 2 motorbikes in here too. And then, depending on how many more people put troops in, the problem is sometimes you move into these and people come back over top of you with more troops. And there's nothing you can do about that. But look at this, 634 armor, 244 tank destroyers. Now, those didn't start in that city. Look, they're pushed back out of Warsaw, so I'm assuming they probably started up in these cities, and through a series of battles got pushed back and pushed back more and more. Because if you look around what's close to here, you're going to see some pretty big stacks of troops in here, I can guarantee you. Where's a good example of that? Maybe up here, maybe? No? Yeah. 3,268. So those are just troops that got pushed out of Warsaw and ended up getting, pushed back. Now, those lose another battle, 2 or 3, and they'll go into what's called morale jail. And I'll show you the morale jail right here is 82 of 100. If that gets to 10 or 0 out of 100, they go into this 10-hour jail where they're going to only earn 10 morale an hour, and they have to be full before you can get them out of the queue. So as you can see, I've been pretty sparing with a lot of these troops. 63 out of 100 there. If you highlight that one, 78 out of 100. And what I'll do is I've got enough units now to push them in and rotate them through. Look at this one. Whoop, 28 out of 100. We need to pull him back to the back line and let him heal up a bit. And that's where your badges come in. So if I was going to look at my badge here, don't look at him. That's not a good example. But look, charismatic leader. What's that badge going to do? It's going to help faster morale recovery. So if you've got it as a gold, you got 15% recovery. And that's things you want to do before you make them a general. Because once they're a general, they can't go into battle. So I'm stuck with 2 silvers and a bronze. But I had to have generals. Now, these aren't generals that I bought. These are generals that I bought as lieutenants and leveled them all the way up to general. And I never played these guys. Well, I played sparingly, you can tell, because it's silver, silver, and bronze. So hopefully that gives you guys some insights to attack teams. Just wanted to show you this noob lieutenant again one more time. His name is Akir76. The most noob lieutenant I have. Anyway, hopefully that gives you some insight into attack teams. If you have questions, man, please hit me up in the comments. Hit me up in game or visit us on the Soviet TeamSpeak, and you can find that by going to the H&G forums, into the clans, and it's an all-open TeamSpeak for anybody who wants to play Soviet. Can jump in, jump on the TeamSpeak, and be recruited. I think we have 6 clans on that server now, on that TeamSpeak server. So anyway, happy hunting, and I'll see you guys on the battlefield.